So I want to start by just giving a brief tour of Premiere. There's a couple things we need to keep in mind that are a little different from Photoshop. And actually what I want to start with is this folder I've made, and we have to be a little more careful with file management than we have been with Photoshop, where everything kind of lives within the Photoshop file. With video editing, we do need to keep our stuff together more. And so I've created this folder. Right now, this has especially the design I'm going to be playing with for this in it. And the important thing is I need to keep this alongside the project file for Premiere. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But first, I'll go ahead and I'm going to open up Adobe Premiere here. Make sure you've got Adobe Premiere Pro. 2025 should be your edition. I'm on a Mac right now, and a lot of you will be on a PC for lab. Works basically the same way, but a couple of maybe small things to consider. So I'll go ahead and get this opened. Now for you, I think I opened up for me. Let me make sure it did. Yeah, it's coming open. As it is opening up here for me. What you may have to do is sign in, similar to what you did with Photoshop. Just keep that in mind. Not a big problem, but might be something to consider. And it'll boot on up, and what it'll ask us to do immediately, I'll make this nice widescreen, is to create a new project. And that's where that folder I created is going to be important. So I'll go ahead and create my new project, and I want to name it something, so let's call it Practice 1 for today, and I want to change the location. Very important here. I'll change that location to the folder I just created on my desktop. There it is, Practice 1. Awesome. Now that's created, and now in my folder, I now have Practice 1 alongside my stuff. So that project folder needs to be next to all the other footage, all the other media you're using. That'll be especially important when we get a little further in and you're doing much more involved videos, much more complicated videos. You've got lots of different clips, different songs, graphics. All of it needs to be put together. So just be careful about that. All right, so now I'm in the import part of this. I typically skip this step because there's other ways to import footage. I'll show you how I like to do it, but here we go. We are now in Premiere. So just to give you a tour, I'm going to start with just a video clip. We're not, we are going to be working with a Photoshop file today, but just I'll show you kind of here for my folder. I'm just going to drag in a clip there just so we have something to play around with for right now. And I'm going to give you a little tour of the program. Now, likely when you open up Premiere, it is going to look more like this, where you have this kind of big thing on the side, which is the learning menu. I think mine is loading here. But let's see if it comes up here. Well, normally it should have tutorials all listed on the side here. And to me, this is a waste of space. What I want you to do is reset the workspace. This will be one of the first things you do. Go to Window, Workspaces, and set it to Effects. You can also change that over here to the Effects workspace, right? And there's other ones, right? You can explore and play around with some of these others, but Effects to me has got everything we are going to need for our class. So let me give you a little tour of what these different kind of workspace panels all do. So right here is what's called my clip bin. And it is where all of my media goes. So if you have all of the video clips, the music, images, every bit of kind of raw media will go here. And you'll see it all listed on the side here. Up top here is what's called the source monitor. So let me double click my clip. And what this is going to allow me to do is go through and scan and look at individual aspects of a specific clip, right? So in this case, maybe I just want to take like a little bit I want to maybe just get a little footage there. I can take just a little bit of footage from this. And then I would then move it into the main, where most of the work is happening in your project, is the timeline. This is where you're actually kind of figuring out what is happening when within your video clip. So I'll go ahead and drag that on in, and this will create my timeline. Now we see another kind of screen here. This is what's called the program monitor. So this is more the output, right? So this will kind of show you what is the finished product. When I export this, what is that going to look like, right? What is the final product going to look like? And this will especially be important. Right now I just have one clip, but oftentimes say, this is a little bit of an awkward thing to do, but I have several clips happening here. Maybe I'll have a graphic, I'll have text on here where I'm saying something. And that's all these kind of elements are getting layered over here, right? And I'm not going to be able to see that individually. This will only let me see one clip at a time. Here will let me see the final product, and I can figure out my timing, be like, okay, I want the text to come in, then I want my clip to happen, and I can kind of all go in and arrange this however I like there. Now, a couple other quick things. One is, let me make sure my key thing is on. I think I've got my key thing on. If not, oh, it looks like it's off. Well, whatever. Is the plus and minus buttons are important here. So that is just plus to zoom in, minus to zoom out. This is what's called the playhead, this little blue line that you're seeing right here. And you can always just go to play. I actually don't even know where play is over here. I guess play is right there. You can do. I always use the space bar, though. Space bar to start, stop. Really helpful to kind of work in hotkeys here. For when you're doing this. So yeah, really getting into this, you have a lot of adjustments. You can zoom this in, zoom this out, especially as these get more complicated rather. You are going to want to see, you're going to want to be able to adjust this screen to really be able to do some more advanced editing. You should also see on the side the volume meter right there. This is important because oftentimes you will turn up the volume in your headphones, and that's just the volume, and then you'll export the piece and it'll be super quiet, and you'll be like, wait, why can't anyone hear it? Really monitoring this. This level shows me actually how loud it is, how loud it's going to export. So make sure that monitor is present. Last thing over here, I won't go into it too much today, but we are going to be using this a lot, is over here, the effects panel. And let me just get in here a little bit more. And there's a lot going on over here that are important. So things like video transitions, right? If I wanted to do, say, like a dissolve between my two clips, something that looks like this. And now I made a little dissolve. There's things like extra effects, wipe effects, nice audio transitions. A lot of things going on here that are important. We'll also, when we get into things like color correction, that's going to happen here under Lumetri, and some of the sound improvements are all happening here. So a lot of really helpful tools that are present on the side. So that is what I want you to set up here, is just to make sure you have these elements kind of present on your screen. So get out of the learning mode, make sure you got the source monitor, the clip bin, the program monitor, your timeline, and your effects panel all kind of laid out here on the screen.